I want to say to everyone, if this is your first time to actually come across this channel, I'm asking you to subscribe to the channel and make sure that you ring the bell. But if you're my regulars, I want to say shout out and thank you so much for engaging, and it's really an honor to serve you guys. I just want to tell you, you are so important, and let's roll, let's play together, let's talk, let's have a conversation, let's talk. Okay, so today we are looking at Mr. Mnangagwa, really, that SADC has plans to reverse Mnangagwa's illegitimacy presidency. Very sad indeed. And RUTENDO material roasted by Brian Kagoro. By the way, not only Brian Kagoro, South Africans went after him. You know, he's got a big mouth, he's always on ZANU-PF's corner. But unfortunately, people are not having it on social media. They are not having it. They're like, it's about time. We need Zimbabwe to be a better country. So South Africans and Zimbabweans went after him. So I'm going to have to let you guys take a listen to what Mr. Mandaza had to say before I proceed with our show today. It's going to be a fascinating one. I want you to take a listen to him. Actually, I want you to hear this from the horse's mouth. As far as Zimbabwe is concerned, please take a listen.
Observer missions. I think you've just indicated that a lot of people are putting a lot of stock on the SADC report, because there's a SADC rules on how you conduct elections, isn't it? And I think ZANU-PF has also tended to brandish the SADC report, yes, more than any. Now that the SADC is disagreeing with ZANU-PF, for the first time, ZANU-PF was going for them. The Commonwealth report was also very strong in many respects. The Carter Center report was very strong. I mean, how...
And the AU report.
The AU report.
The election fell short of many regional and international standards, including equality, universality, and transparency.
Yes. How does Mnangagwa and them sustain legitimacy in the face of this?
No, they are wounded. The kind of disparagement of the SADC report in particular is because the SADC report goes to the heart of the matter. It's your own organization telling you have failed.
Yeah.
And the clumsiness with which Mumbai is being attacked. Clumsiness. Childishness. I saw Charamba's inane statement, you know, and wishing that this thing will be killed and Zimbabwe takes over in August next year. You know, the real we wrote the rules. You know, involved in the writing of the rules. The organ document 1996.
Organ for security,
political security, defense and security. It was initiated by Zimbabwe. We were asked to do it at SAPES and ratified in Botswana.
Am I right that President Emmerson was the first head of that organization?
Yes, he was. Yeah, he pushed it. You know.
Now it's inconvenient.
It's very clear. Once there is a disputed election according to the SADC rules, it has to be discussed. And as much as our petition is based on a view that there should be a transitional government, the protocol says that. That's one of the options. Either you go for rerun or you negotiate. In 2008, he's informed by the same background, if you remember.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, and Mbeki and his colleague Mbeki in particular ignored the reality. I remember I was friends with the Makalima, was ambassador.
Yeah.
You know, and just said, let's apply the SADC protocols, condemn this election. Mbeki refused. He flew into Harare after the runoff. Maybe he sent generals here to look at the violence. And I had a discussion with Roman, who was head of the delegation. I took a number of people who had lost their hands to this South African embassy. He broke down in tears. And he showed me the report as we flew together to Joburg. He was still in Joburg at that time.
Yes.
It was telling, you know, and yet that report was published, but it caused ripples in the ANC to the extent that in June 2008, a cabinet committee was set up on Zimbabwe to look at that. And you know what happened?
Yeah.
They condemned the runoff. But Mbeki flew in. Bob was on at midnight. She was sick. And they flew together to Egypt, to the summit, AU summit.
Do you think, before we take a break, my sense is, it's it's going to be difficult to push the SADC report under the carpet. Cyril has to face the SADC report. Cyril has to face his comrade, the Zambian president. Is a stage being set for some form of negotiation that could result in a GNU and transitional alignment? What's your sense? You said you noted the import of Philip Maruna's letter. What is being choreographed here?
A GNU in the making.
No.
A GNU in the making. That's why we're making a decision between a GNU and transitional government. We'll come to that. But
Yeah.
I believe, well, I know, because apropos our petition, I've been in touch with all the governments in the region, at the level of ministries of information, of foreign affairs. It's clear that this would not be put under the carpet. Yes.
There is clearly no legitimacy.
Yeah, no legitimacy, and even someone even said that the inauguration of Emmerson can be reversed under the rules, clearly. Conversely, this is why Emmerson and they pushed for the rush. The same when they bobbed in 2008.
Same script.
Yeah, same script to preempt a SADC position. Okay. Now, will SADC allow that again? I don't think so.
Ibbo, I'm going to hold.
All right, so you heard it. Right, you heard that everything that happens after the election in terms of the inauguration, the formation of the cabinet, it was just a rush and a farce because SADC have the plans to reverse Mr. Mnangagwa's illegitimacy, which I agree. And I think if SADC, when SADC takes that approach, because it's going to happen anyway, so we're going to say when, it's because one thing that you must remember is you can never build a nation on the platform of deception. What happened in Zimbabwe is the worst in history. People, daylight robbery right in front of your face. They were not hiding it. In front of observers. I mean, the lack of shame. They're more or less, the way they acted is more like hijackers. The hijacker armed robbers. The hijackers can come through when you're parking the car in front of everybody and just shoot one shot, and they know people are going to run away, and then they just take over the whole space, right? And then rob the people and keep moving. That's exactly what's going on right now as we speak. What happened in Zimbabwe, the worst in history. There was fires there. Those tables were all over the place in front of people. I remember the first table I saw was actually from was it in town, right? Was in town early in the morning, and before you know it, many tables, we saw pictures all over the place. That's why I'm saying kudos to social media. Before, we used to be lied to. We never knew what was right and what was wrong, what was true and what was false. But in 2023, truth can hit you at minute, anytime. As long as there's a phone that can take a picture, things about to happen. So I'm so excited, and I'm really super. What Ibbo Mandaza is dropping right now is a bombshell that I can't even wait to see in fruition. Yeah, we want a legitimate nation. We want a country that is built on a platform of truth, on a platform of respect, on a platform of understanding, and on a platform of honor. If we fail to employ those principles, we are going absolutely nowhere. If you look at 2008, where there was another illegitimate election and then things were swept under the carpet, where did it take us to? We are stuck today because of that, because we are allowing wrong to carry on and we are doing absolutely nothing about it. It's time Zimbabweans will rise up and exalt principles that work for everybody. So as for me, I'm like Mr. Mandaza, I'm with you, and SADC, I'm with you, and we are praying for you, men and women of wisdom. We want to sort out the Zimbabwe situations for good. And I also want to say thank you to ZANU-PF for their actions after the SADC report. When they were busy attacking Hichilema, you see how the enemy does. He doesn't know how far he can go. I loved it because them attacking Hichilema just pushed them to the edge, making it worse. Now people can see what we have been facing over the years, because whenever Zimbabweans used to speak that guys were having a challenge here, nobody believed them. But now that truth is out of the box, now that the truth is known, they've seen people have been threatened. I'm sure they'll start respecting Zimbabweans for who they are. That, guys, this is where we are today. So I want to say to everyone, shout out, good afternoon to everyone. Welcome to Afternoon Show. My name is Rumbi, and I'm so excited. I want you guys to drop your location, and also make sure that if you are new here, you subscribe to the channel. And turn on the notification button, because every time I drop a video, you are the first person to be notified that I'm live. So we can come in here and have a conversation as I update you on what's going on in Zimbabwe. I'm so excited right now. As we're kind of moving right along, we are looking at Mr. Fikile Mbalula. Okay, by the way, Fikile Mbalula is a center of attraction because immediately after elections, you saw him dining with ZANU-PF in Harare, and David took him to farms as well as some of the mines. People are like, Mr. Fikile, are you having, what's up? You know what I mean? So he does really have allegiance with ZANU-PF. Their bodies, he was speaking all good things about them and talk about the struggle. We are like hold it ransom because of the struggle, but our parents also fought for the struggle. My uncle, my grandfather kept the army. They were literally take care of the army in our city. That's why my family are chieftains. We are chiefs for that reason. We worked during the time of the struggle, but it seems like we didn't do nothing. But Brian Kagoro, because Brian Kagoro is a tank of wisdom. I want to say shout out to Brian, a man of wisdom, and these are the kind of people that the President, Mr. Mnangagwa, should actually be, consulting. People like Kagoro, men of great minds, men of wisdom. But he also, Fikile Mbalula tweeted and said, forget apartheid brigade. All right. So what he was trying to say is, don't even listen to people who tells you to forget about what happened during the apartheid era. We also saying, we must not forget what happened in Gukrahundi, what happened in 2008 when our people were given short sleeve or long sleeve, because what Mr. Mandaza was saying is that he actually took one of the diplomats to the space where people were cut hands. And he cried, the diplomat that was taken by Ibbo Mandaza cried when he saw people that were hurt by the Mnangagwa's regime in 2008. I want you guys to take a listen to what Kagoro said regarding the issue of silencing those that are in pain. We know we've always been, whenever we talk, they tell you, keep quiet, you have nothing to say, keep quiet. But I guess people are saying we've had enough. There's no time to keep quiet, now we want to speak. So Kagoro is saying it's time where you have to let people speak up. Do not silence our people when they're in pain. There's something that happens when we speak up. There's healing, there's grieving, there is also mourning. So we need that moment of mourning because that's what brings healing. Take a listen to Brian Kagoro. Please go ahead.
Stop that nonsense. When the Holocaust happened against the Jews, it was 1940s, 45. Not a single African country other than Ethiopia and those who had not been colonized was free. The first African country got independent 1957. There is not a single Jewish person who will allow you to forget the Holocaust. And it's, in fact, there are crimes, not just in Israel, across the world against denial of the Holocaust. US foreign policy, Israeli foreign policy is very key. It's a central issue. Africans, for some reason, must forget something that happened 50 years ago, if you are Zimbabwe 80 years ago. Listen, we must always remind our friends from Europe and elsewhere that slavery was a crime against humanity, as is colonialism and neo-colonialism. That killing Sankara in 1984 because you are opposed to communism and plunging his country into chaos that you are now trying to solve as a problem of poor governance is a shared responsibility. So we will take responsibility for our nakedness, but for goodness sake, a naked emperor cannot lecture us about how to be clothed.
Right.
Pan-Africanism is not a theory.
You're right.
It's the lived solidarity that made the Ethiopians give Nelson Mandela a passport, that made Senegalese civil servants contribute $1 each every month for the liberation of South Africa, that made Zambia take care of us as Zimbabweans and South Africans as we fought for our liberation, that made Uganda take care of the comrades that now run this country. If Pan-Africanism has no active solidarity action, no active affirmative action, the words are meaningless because even the devil can quote scripture.
Right, even the devil can quote scriptures. And I understand with that term, let me tell you, we can never be silenced when it comes to our pain. So what happened during the struggle, we must never, and you can see ZANU-PF used that as an ammunition to keep silencing every descending void post 1980. But we also know what happened in Gukrahundi, and trust me, I've met people from that area who are broken and tattered. I was born in 1983, and when I hear the stories of what happened in 1983, I am in shock even today. We saw what happened in 2008 in Zimbabwe, where they were cutting people, you wanted long sleeve, and I can only imagine, how do you hurt your own brother and your own sister and then wake up and say, keep quiet? This is why Zimbabweans are bleeding as we speak, because it's like pain after pain after pain. And we are saying it is enough. That's why we are hold on to this SADC report and say, God, we want divine intervention. We want to see change in our community. We want to see a better Zimbabwe for all. We are desperate to see it happens in this era. We are desperate. And I'm asking everyone, ZANU-PF, never tell us to keep quiet when we talk about Gukurahunde. Don't tell us to keep quiet. It's so important for us to mourn, to grieve, and to also speak about it. Trauma is real. And if we do not speak about traumatic experiences, how do you expect us to move forward? So I'm saying to everyone, if you are struggling, because I know even now, there are people who have been going through family trauma, relationship trauma, speak up. Don't be silenced. Speak up. Get the help that you need. Please, I'm also going to ask them to just leave my details below, because I can help you with counseling. I can help you to stabilize. There's something so important about speaking up about your pain. If you don't speak about your pain, then how are you going to be healed? You can't. So Brian is right. We must never be silenced. Let's talk about our pain. ZANU-PF needs to hear that Zimbabweans are bleeding. From Gukurahunde, the struggle, we understand our parents were part and parcel. We inherited a lot of trauma from there. Gukurahunde came through. We inherited trauma from there. 2008, a lot of atrocities that has been committed over the years. We inherited trauma from there. And it's about time we say it is enough. We can never be silenced. We are taking full responsibility. We want to see a better society. All of us are crying for a better Zimbabwe. And we're praying that SADC come through for us. A lot is happening. Petitions were sent really with very clear objectives to see Zimbabwe becoming a better country again. Let's pray for Hichilema and the Troika, that God will give them the wisdom to tackle the Zimbabwean issue with so much respect of all citizens. All right, so citizen agents tweeted, he said, yay, come on, anyone who doesn't believe that Chinamasa, so this has to do with Hichilema. Remember, RUTENDO and Chinamasa were threatening Hichilema. And so citizens says, no, believe these people. Anyone who doesn't believe that Chinamasa said, what Chinamasa said about the killing of Levi Manawasa isn't well acquainted with Zimbabwe 2008 issue. Something is fishy. I don't doubt every word RUTENDO and Patrick said. They probably know what we don't know. You know, there's always a hand of evil. Can I tell you, someone came to my inbox actually and was this person came asking about properties, Marabara, and fast forward, when I checked, I realized that no, the guy has come from the other side of ZANU-PF, and he said he wants to meet up with me. I said, nope, I'm not going to meet up with you, sir. No, I don't meet up with people from ZANU-PF because I don't trust you. I love you as a brother, but I don't trust what you believe in. I don't trust what you do. I don't trust you. I will meet up with you. You've got your own hidden agenda. Nope, I don't meet up with you. I canceled the appointment. But let me just tell you, in 2008, that was in Zambia. Then, you know, Manawas was so hands-on about the Zimbabwean trio. But now, in 2008, there were headlines that were actually fascinating. One of the headlines said, Zambia's president calls for emergent SADC meeting over Zimbabwe. That was Manawasa. Can you see what God is doing? He's using Zambia to cleanse the mess in Zimbabwe. And the second headline was saying, Zambian president calls Zimbabwe a sinking Titanic. Are you surprised? Are you surprised that now it's a sinking Titanic? Zimbabwe becoming a sinking Titanic. As a matter of fact, Mr. Manawasa, in heaven where you are, it is sunk. Zimbabwe is sunk. You were right. It was on its way to destruction, and now we are finally sunk. There's no transport as we speak. People are stuck in the country. I do not know why did they stop the taxis, which is the combis, to move. They were promising this bus, Zupco bus, that is not even moving as we speak. People are stuck, can't even move to go to work. Zimbabweans are bleeding. They've suffered enough, Mr. Manawasa. So you were right about what you said. It's showing today. This is why I'm saying I put my trust and I believe in Hichilema. I know Hichilema is a man of integrity. Thank God to Mumba who came through with the whole observer mission. And also, I want to say shout out to ZANU-PF. Thank you for behaving the way that you did because you exposed yourself. And to those who were having a problem, why did Nelson Chamisa frog marched into the election considering the ills that we knew were leveled against the party? No. No. If you have been saying to people that this man is an abuser, right? This man is an abuser, you're telling everybody, and they don't believe you. Sometimes what you need to do, you need to walk away with the bruises for people to believe. Or you need to do it in front of everyone. You must put a camera and hide the camera, right? You put a camera and hide it because you've been telling people this man is an abuser or this woman is an abuser, and no one is believing you. And then you wake up and say, next time, let me put a camera, hidden camera where nobody can hear, and then let him behave the way that he does. At least you've got evidence. So now, thanks, Nelson Chamisa and your people who decided to go after the election, knowing well that the ground wasn't leveled. Because not everyone, the whole world can see in black and white that this regime is up to no good, and they are not good people, and they have no respect for human beings. That's all I'm gonna say. And Soneva Masola sent out a very interesting message. He said, "We will come after you." Zambia is taking petition to the United Nations, African Union, and SADC News. The petition is over ZANU-PF threats to assassinate President H.H. Hichilema. They also want Chinamasa PA to explain how they killed late President Levi Manawasa, as he said. Oh, so Chinamasa alleged that they killed Manawasa, telling Zambia that, threatening Hichilema that we can come after you. Are we not dealing with gangsters, guys? We're dealing with those, like we call them Inkavi. South Africa call them Inkavi, like the killers, the assassins, They will send you a message or say, we're going to kill you. Or send a text and say, we're coming after you. Because they don't want you to do anything. Or you know what has been happening. To be specific, South Africa, that if there's a crime that may involve a powerful person or any person who stand a chance to lose a lot, what do? They go after assassins and say, you go and eliminate this person. I remember the Zimbabwean lady who was eliminated. You saw the video circulating. She was cut off because she was one of the testimonials. She had them. She was murdered. That's exactly what's going on here. They send a threat. So if you move, but here's the thing. Hichilema is a man of God. Hichilema is protected 24/7. The guardian angels are with him. You're wasting your time. You're the one that will fall before him. I always tell people that if you try to hate me, you're the one that will fall before me, because God won't let you. I'm on a mission here. I'm going somewhere. God has already have a plan for me so that you can eliminate me. That's what people need to understand. But he said this is what happens when drunkards occupy strategic positions in the politics of the country. They start unnecessary diplomatic wars whose consequences they don't care about because they have already lived their best lives. ZANU-PF has become the full psycho bully of the region. That is never what I say. I agree with him. They've become a bully. They bullied the Zimbabweans, and those Zimbabweans are quiet. And like I said to you today, I'm going to repeat again that it's one thing. You know, when a person's still talking, I always say to people, when I'm still speaking, I'm not angry. When I'm really angry, I keep quiet. Yes, when I'm still talking, you must know I'm not yet angry. But when I really get angry, I keep quiet because I have nothing else to offer. Nothing. So Zimbabweans went on a quiet mode, not because they're weak, because they've done everything they could. And do they realize, no, man, maybe what we can do now, let's play quiet mode and deal with this monster in a wise way. So they've crossed the borders because there's no pushback from Zimbabweans. There's no pushback. Now, what's happening? They have not crossed the borders. Now they are fighting Zambians. H.H. Hichilema and also Dr. Mumba, who was simply just a messenger. He did not write the report. He was simply a leader. The people that were writing reports were actually observers that were thrown around Zimbabwe doing their job. So interesting enough, really. So, like I said, Rutendo, big mouth as always. You went after Brent Kagoro after that video that you just listened to, when Kagoro was talking about the pain of the people of Zimbabwe. Remember, Rutendo Matinyarare is ZANU-PF's propagandist, and he's also ZANU-PF's pushback warrior. So, keyboard warrior, I say keyboard warrior. 24/7. If you go on Twitter, everywhere, Rutendo is not only is a keyboard warrior, is also a mouthful warrior. So he talks a lot. You go to most of YouTube, you see him talking about sanctions, 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 and sanctions. He's a sanctions mantra. This Mr. That's what he does. He speaks on behalf of ZANU-PF. So he went in and replied to Mr. Mbalula after that message we had. Kagoro said, you cannot silence people after they go through a lot of pain. Let them speak up. Zimbabweans can't be silenced considering they faced the liberation struggle of pain, trauma, went to Gukrahunti, trauma, self-inflicted trauma of a black-to-black hatred. We moved to 2008 where people were being asked if you want a short sleeve and long sleeve. Again, black-to-black hatred, your own brother hating your own people. They can never be silenced. Once that was spoken, RUTENDO stood up, from his corner again as a ZANU-PF pushback. He said this man is called Brian Kagoro. Remember, Brian Kagoro is a man of great mind, a Zimbabwean guru. He's a smart, intelligent Pan-Africanist. He said this man is called Brian Kagoro, one of the founder members of MDC. So quote unquote, now he's talking about MDC now. Now it moved from the words he spoke at a summit in Rwanda, educating the young about the African history. Now it has been pulled, now it's been taken into Zimbabwean politics now. Because truth must not be said by any Zimbabwean, as far as ZANU-PF is concerned. Truth must always be pushed under the carpet. Yes, Zimbabweans must take any nonsense that comes from the regime. If you say something, you are in danger. You are definitely in danger. So he's now saying, this man is called Brian Kagoro, one of the founder members of MDC. MDC, opposition party. He headed the broad-based civil alliance, which was funded by the white farmers. Here we go again. Now back to the American puppetry mantra. Union, white South Africans farmers, Soros Open Society of Southern Africa, and the Westminster Foundation to stop land reform in 1999. He's the one who pushed for Zimbabweans to vote against change to the constitution to stop land reform. And then he was also in the forefront of calling for sanctions. I told you. Any ZANU-PF propagandist will use either the Western puppet mantra, sanction mantra, nothing else. There's sanction rhetoric. They have nothing else to offer. That's the only pushback. White people, you're white, you're a white puppet. You are American puppet, so quote unquote. You are also the one that was behind the sanctions. But there's nearly 30 to 35 billion stuffed in foreign lands belong to Zimbabweans. I'm going to get into that tonight. So you guys, you come to the night show. I'll be at exactly 8:30. We're coming back talking about how much money that is stuffed in foreign lands by Zimbabwean elites. While the country is bleeding in poverty, they've stuffed the money in the foreign land. 30 to 35 billion of US dollars stuffed in foreign lands for the poor. Natasha Ecklefield, she talks too much on Twitter. She pushed back, said your president made his son finance minister or some nonsense, and you dare speak of Trojan horses. Your president has just made his own son the deputy finance minister. Which position are you holding, Mr. Rutendo? You're just a keyboard warrior. Keyboard warrior, right? Nothing to show, no position at all. You have been a keyboard warrior for decades. What more did you get? A man with no wisdom, lack of understanding and wisdom. The Bible calls those men foolish men. When you are spending your time supporting someone else scolding, not your own killing, not your own dream. Not your own dream. You should be spending your time building your own life, fulfilling purpose. You are just someone's propagandist. You always work for someone else. When are you going to pursue your own purpose? When are you going to stand for what's right? When are you going to call wrong and call right? When? Very sad indeed. Guys, I'm asking you to make sure that you like the live and also please contribute. I would like to hear what are your thoughts, because at the end of the show, I'm going to come through and have some conversations with you. I can't wait, really. So I'm expecting you guys to come through. Please like the live. Let's push the algorithm. We need to get to 100 likes for us to really push it far, because every Zimbabwean across the world need to have a conversation. Because what we need to do now is to rebuild our walls. Have a Zimbabwe that everyone else wants. And don't forget to drop your location, because at the end, I'm going to send you some shout out and tell you how much I love you and how much I actually respect you for being part and parcel of this space. Then Rutendo said, what are the qualifications of the deputy minister? Now he's again pushing back on Mnangagwa's regime. He's supporting the Mnangagwa's son that just been appointed as the deputy minister. Finance minister. I said deputy finance minister. Considering the gold mafia, the Centric report, the Reserve Bank reports, allegations of corruption around the president. Allegations of corruption around the president. The son definitely has found a spot of being the deputy finance minister. And you have seen many times where people never trusted Mr. Mthuli that his services wasn't really great. And what is supposed to tell you, if he slides a bit, the brother is going to land himself being the finance minister. Finance minister. So he now tried to give the world the resume of Kuda Mnangagwa. He said, what are the qualifications of the deputy minister of finance? That's Rutendo Martinera's pushback. He's an actuarial scientist. Low degree work experience. He's an AON insurance, NBS board member and founder of Flame Lily Venture Capital. How can you not have all those posts when he's the son of the president? Hey, mister. It happens in Africa because that's where people take an advantage. How can it not be? Because we're going to listen to what Ruto said. Because Ruto said, no way. My kids cannot be involved in anything that has to do with the government work. They can't. I have to respect that the people of Kenya trusted me to serve, but they did not trust my entire kids to be part and parcel. We are getting there. So, venture capital. So why are we talking about the father of such a well-qualified man instead of his credentials? No, maybe we should say, Rutendo, why would we talk about Mr. Mnangagwa? Why can we talk about you and your children? A father who also maybe, you've got a son or a daughter who is very educated. Can we talk about you and your family? What are you doing for your family? Than when you are sitting and be pushing back for Mr. Mnangagwa. They can stand for themselves and answer to the Zimbabweans. And he went on to say, and so what? No, he's answering back to Kagoro. Is it illegal? Does the Zimbabwean constitution not allow a qualified person with an actuarial degree to take up a job? How many Zimbabweans have actuarial qualifications? His argument might be sound, but what is the objective of him making such a submission when he is advancing imperialism in Zimbabwe on behalf of the same imperialists? How genuine is his submission? Is he a Trojan horse paid to pretend to be a Pan-Africanist, only for him to be trusted and then to lead us to the slaughter? Listen, Rutendo Martinere, you can't come anywhere near Kagoro. You and Kagoro, you are like water and oil. Kagoro is the most respected Pan-Africanist man. When he was speaking those submissions, he was actually having a seminar in, there was a seminar in Rwanda. This is what bleeds me. The first time I came across Kagoro, I didn't know that he was a Zimbabwean actually. I knew he was Pride, but I did not know his surname. I did not even know that he was a Zimbabwean. And when I came to know that he was a Zimbabwean, my heart was broken. These are the people that should be actually advising the president, Mr. Mnangagwa. These are the men. Guys, Zimbabwe is packed. He's full of men and women who are intelligent, who are just all over the place, who are not even saving Zimbabwe. Imagine educating people in your country, spending money on their education. They get to tertiary education, spending money on their tertiary education for them to go and be serving somewhere else. That's going to show you how foolish and gullible we are as Zimbabweans, especially the regime, the leadership, ZANU-PF. You have no wisdom. There's something I've been telling people, that the money you're looting in the country, that you're stuffing in Dubai, in America, in Europe, wherever you are dropping the money, you are coming back and say, we are West puppets of the West, but you are buying houses in Miami. I heard recently another diplomat in Zimbabwe bought a house in Miami, millions of dollars. And that house, you're not even staying there. And you know what's so heartbreaking is these men are always dressing so terrible. They're very dirty and filthy. But they've got money stuff in Dubai. And people in Dubai are enjoying their houses while they're living like animals, while their own people are suffering. Poverty mentality, that's what it's called. It's called poverty mentality. Life is to be enjoyed, not endured. Life is not about collecting because you came with nothing, you're going to live with nothing. Life is about sharing with everyone around you. If that principle is understood, then it will make life easier for all of us. So for those that think that you can go around and be lying to people, you can go around and stuff things, collecting money. I know a certain person, I'm waiting for the right time and forum, who is son of a minister who was a minister in Mashingo. They have properties worth $60 million around in South Africa here. Waiting for the right time and forum. Right, but praise ye the Lord. Yes, and when they walk, you can't even see they've got the money. They're filthy and dirty. They don't even bath. We're expecting you to be getting into parliament wearing Italian suits, all suited, looking good and polished, smelling so nice, your perfumes that you buy. We were expecting that. But most of you are just looting. You think you're looting for your kids. No, you're cursing your own children. Life has never been about being given. It has always been about being taught. It's about purpose, not about collecting. No, it's about fulfilling purpose by action. When you're doing something, your children don't work. They spend time just moving from woman to woman, doing cocaine and drugs because they can't work, because they are being spoiled by parents. Very, very sad to watch. It's very sad. I'm still waiting to see you looking fabulous in that new parliament. But you can't raise the money because you're afraid that people will know that you're a looter. By the way, Mr. Shrek, this is Obed. Mr. Obed, where is the 15 billion Marange diamond proceeds? Allegedly. Where is it? We're going to ask you and we have the answers. Ali has been asking for as long as I can remember. I think they're about almost, I don't know how many tweets online. Where is asking Mr. Obed Mpofu, where is the 15 billion Marange diamond proceeds that disappeared in thin air? Guys, 15 billion is trillions in rands that could have built South Africa. From that time that the man disappeared up to now, South Africa built a lot. And nothing is going on in Zimbabwe. You're just looting, stuffing it in Dubai, out of the country, to the place that you'll never stay. It's sad. It's very sad. It's very sad, right? It is very sad. So Mr. Kagoro is right. We're going to mourn. We're going to grieve. We're going to talk about our pain. It's very important. It's necessary. Pain can never be swept under the carpet. It's very important. Then shocking Zim as Mnangagwa family captures key government institutions. So this is a report on the other side of town. But, Zim I said that David Mnangagwa unmasked. So let's just go through and see what is it that they are unmasking David Mnangagwa, the recent appointed finance deputy minister by quote unquote the regime. The father appointed him as one of the cabinet member as the deputy finance minister. So let's unmask him. And this is actually Zimai. Zimai is actually Simba Chikanza. So he said, the nation has condemned President Emmerson Mnangagwa's unashamed appointment of his son David as deputy minister, finance minister. Mnangagwa's decision to reflects nepotism, corruption, and undermining the government's credibility. National Prime Minister, the opposition leader, described it as a gigantic fraud and accused Mnangagwa of not prioritizing the nation's economic challenges. We all know that, 150%. But who is this David Mnangagwa? Who is he? I don't even know him too. It's my first time to actually be. I didn't know him, unfortunately. And I'm sure there are also other people who don't know him. I don't know him. Like, it's my first time to actually expose to him. I've got a purpose to fulfill. So, who is he? So, David Mnangagwa is David Kuda Kwasha Mnangagwa. He's a 34-year-old. He's actually 6 years younger than me. 34-year-old son of President Emmerson Mnangagwa. He's currently a ZANU-PF Youth Quota Member of Parliament for the Midlands Province. He is actively involved in the ZANU-PF Youth League structures as a provincial member. Kudakwasha is one of the founding partners at Flame Lily Venture Capital Group, Private Limited. Flame Lily Venture Capital specializes in private equity investment and advisory services. How do you then make someone who's already have a business connecting to money now to have a position in the government also with money? The last time I checked, if someone has a business, I think you have to surrender your business. You can't be the director at the same time also be in the government space, if I'm not mistaken. From my understanding, I don't know how the Zimbabwean constitution says regarding that. So their primary focus area include financial services, mining, real estate. Oh, please, mining. Mining, real estate. And construction within Zimbabwe in the Southern African region. Oh, okay, so they've crossed the borders as well. This must be a very well-connected family, right? Because you also know Jonathan Moyo confirmed that actually Mnangagwa is one of the most richest men in Zimbabwe that people don't even know. And be in mind, this video that I'm referring to, that he said Mr. Mnangagwa is the richest man in Zimbabwe, that was then. Yeah, there, not now. Okay. So after all that happened, the gold mafia, the Sandrick report connected to Tabwire that has been alleged on all social media platforms. By the Sandrick report is on Google actually, also because that was reported by Hope Washington. When you hear all those stories, just listen to them. They will show you that you are dealing with real mafias, real big the big boys, mafias. So, Southern Africa in the region. Kudakwasha holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Administration and Actuarial Science, which is obtained from Drake University in the United States of America between 2009 and 2011. Additionally, he completed his Bachelor of Laws LLB degree at the University of Zimbabwe. From 2015 to 2020, Kudakwasha Mnangagwa served as a board member of National Building Society, NBS, as that was the bank, contributing to its operations and decision-making processes. One of his companies won the tender to refurbish Kudzanayi bus terminus in Gweru. The president's son's business got a tender to refurbish a terminus in Gweru. Okay. Wow. The president's son's business got a tender to refurbish a terminus in Gweru. Is that the one that the president went and opened, I think? Oh, wow. The last time I checked, a president, he does not even have to touch anything to do with business and money and tenders and involved. His businesses or his children's business should not have nothing to do with tenders of the government. That's my understanding. Maybe I may be wrong. Like I said, I don't know what the Constitution of Zimbabwe says. But this is why I'm saying I respect William Ruto. You know, William Ruto took over the presidency of Kenya recently. And I just want you guys to take a listen to what he said about his family. Take a listen to William Ruto, please.
In any politics. And I'm not saying that they should not. If they want to, but they should. But I, family, are not participating in any politics. And I'm not saying that they should not. If they want to, but they should. But I have made the conscious decision that it is enough that the people of Kenya have given me the honor to be president. It is not in my place to use it to promote my family. It is in my place to use it to promote the children of other people.
Right.
So that they get the same opportunity like the one I have gotten. And that is why I have a very big argument with some of my competitors who use the office they get whenever there is a nomination. They nominate their daughters, nominate their cousins, they nominate. I don't think that's the best way to use opportunity. I think opportunity should be spread. If you have gotten an opportunity, reach out to somebody else to give them a lift, to give them a hand up, so that they too can become something. It shouldn't be just around your family.
Something is very wrong, guys. I cannot even begin to, and I agree with William Ruto. I don't know if you guys heard it probably because the volume was a bit low. But what he's saying is that when there's any opportunity, he made up his mind that he will not even appoint or even allow one of his family members to be appointed in any position in the government, because the people of Kenya trusted him to serve. And he also saying that he's pursuing to be a blessing to other families as well, so that they can get opportunities. Imagine, as we speak right now, the position that Kudakwasha Mnangagwa is right now, and even the other also nephew from Mnangagwa too, that is another position in the same space as we speak right now, could be another Zimbabwean family's position, and they can also be of a blessing. This is how we can eradicate poverty. I can't be taking everything to myself. You know what I mean? I believe that we can enlarge our territories by supporting our family members. When God blesses us, we also need to reach out and see who can we pull. I know sometimes it's not easy, but we have to be obligated to take that position, to be of a blessing to others. Very important. And I agree with him. He knows that God is blessed to him. He's going to earn a salary every month. A lot of money, actually, you know, that his kids can go to school and get nice jobs or even create their own employment or pursue other means. That is nothing to do with government spaces. But here we are with Mr. Mnangagwa, disrespectfully so, has appointed his son as a finance minister. How many Zimbabweans who are actually looking for a job who can be ministers in Zimbabwe today? Many. But he chose his own son. And one son who is already exposed to riches since the day he was born. This boy went inside in America. This boy's got businesses where he's earning money. Today he's going to be earning more in Parliament. He's going also to come as a minister. He's going to get more travel allowance, all manner of free stuff. The question I'm asking is, how far can we go as a nation? How far can you go as a leader where you're not promoting other kids, but it's only you and you and you alone? It's very sad. It's really sad. And I agree with Rute. And I don't know when are we going to wake up one day and realize that it's so important for us to always encourage or also promote others to succeed. It's not about us and us and us. Zimbabweans are bleeding. Zimbabweans are suffering. Give other kids a chance. Give other kids a chance. And the people really, some of them condemned anyone who's rising up to actually congratulating ZANU-PF today. Even all those presidents who says we did it for diplomacy. No, I don't know if I can congratulate anyone I heard that they actually cheated their way to the position. Let's say I've got a family member who's at university and I heard that they cheated themselves to get a degree. I'm not going to congratulate them. They don't have the qualities for me to congratulate. They did not earn the degree. Why am I supposed to congratulate them? When we know the election was a mess. To actually open my mouth and say I'm congratulating ZANU-PF for being leaders, I can't. There's nothing to congratulate there. There's nothing. Why should I congratulate them? Nothing. So let me just read this tweet that was sent out by Wopo Shingon, and it was really referring to Dr. Ngosana Moyo, who was supposed to be actually the president of Zimbabwe. But you know how with ZANU-PF, any wisdom that rises up has to be suffocated. So he said, when you see any Zimbabwean congratulating a ZANU-PF appointment in the corrupt government, such a person is the personification of what Dr. Ngosana Moyo described. When he said, some Zimbabweans are not fighting for real change, but they are fighting to be included in the system so that they can also have their turn to eat. That is why some shady people try to separate some crooked individuals from the system that they are working for, and that they happily embrace when called to serve it. If you walk into a corrupt government and you stay this after seeing all the terrible things that the system is doing to our citizens, then you are also corrupt, because there's nothing to be congratulated about joining a corrupt mafia that steals from its people. The same applies to people who sit on parastatals boards pretending to be the voice of reason in a filth corrupt organization. No, they are to make money, and they have zero integrity. We should do away with the pretense that we see in some of our people who attempt to deceive us that anything good can come from a regime that can't even buy paracetamol for grannies in township and rural areas. These people are enablers. Without them, the corrupt system would be collapsed, and many of them have no competent skills to market abroad. Let us have a clean moral standard and not pretend that there are aspects of the corrupt regime that are acceptable in being part of. How can any sane person want to be part of a regime that allows 2,500 women to die annually giving birth? You have blood on your hands if you are part of that. It is a non-negotiable reality, and those who congratulate that, shame on you. Agreed. I would say shame on you too. I would say shame on you. I'm going to say to you why. I've heard actually today, I learned today that almost 30 to 35 billion US dollars is stuffed in foreign lands that was looted in Zimbabwe by the elites. And one of the petitions that the group of Ibbo Mandaza and some of the African regional diplomats are doing is actually write a petition that those monies must be reversed to cater for the people of Zimbabwe. It is sad. It is sad. What can 25 to 30 to 35 billion do US dollars to the Zimbabwean today? If that money can come, it can fix the roads, buy cancer machines, and fix our hospitals. We can do away with a lot of anomalies or ills that we are facing today on a daily basis. Fixing the country for children, for the future of our people. That's what life is all about. And I'm also very grateful that a lot of people really come against and condemn Mr. Mnangagwa's regime and what happened in the past election. And one of them is actually Elizabeth Varelio. Let me just say this. And I was expecting maybe the president to actually include her in his cabinet, but unfortunately he did not. There was just a reshuffle of the same old people. She wrote such a very, very, very strong statement to the regime, and I wanted to read it. You know, she's a president for UZA, which is she was the only lady who actually contested as a president. I respect her. She's a woman of principle. Even when she tells you how she started her political party, I have so much respect for her. But I want to read out the statement she said. Very strong statement. She said, UZA statement on President Mnangagwa's newly appointed cabinet for immediate release. The United Zimbabwe Alliance, which is UZA, has noted of the new cabinet sworn in by President Emmerson Mnangagwa on Tuesday. This follows the swearing in of the president and the appointment of the two vice presidents. You know, Kembo Mohadi and Chiwenga. Kembo Mohadi was fired, so who resigned after allegations of sexual assault. He resigned, and then now he's back in the game, and everyone is asking questions. How on earth can we have people who preditate on kids back in the political space? What can we do? Sex space are always finding their way into the space, because when money talks, then people listen, right? So he said President Mnangagwa's new cabinet fails to meet the expectations of many Zimbabweans who are suffering from a collapsing economy and a moribund local currency. Prices of basic commodities have been on an upward trend, pushing many Zimbabweans, especially the underprivileged, into abject poverty. UZA had hoped President Mnangagwa's cabinet would show at least his concern and efforts to turn around the economy and the fortunes of the people of Zimbabwe, especially young people who bear the brunt of rising unemployment. Instead, the newly appointed cabinet falls short in a number of aspects, the following in particular. So number one is the president's brazen display of nepotism by appointing his son, David Mnangagwa, as the deputy finance minister. It's always been one of the questions that people are dropping. And his nephew, Tongai Mafidi Mnangagwa, as deputy minister of tourism and hospitality, in synonyms which dynastic succession and should never be condoned in any democratic Zimbabwe. President Mnangagwa's cabinet especially is a reshuffling of the same team that spearheaded the current economic meltdown. This will not move the nation forward to achieve international standards. The president's cabinet should be a platform that taps into the experiences of its appointed ministers. Experience, however, does not refer to the number of years one has spent in cabinet or to age. The very same people, old people, who failed to save our people are back in the space. And this is why people are questioning, why do we have the very same old failure, and expecting a miracle from them, which is not going to happen. There's no miracle that's going to come out of this. Definitely they failed, and I know they won't be able to take us moving forward. President Mnangagwa missed an opportunity to refocus government towards sustainable development. Appointing new qualified minds would bring new solutions to the myriad of challenges Zimbabwe is facing. Where are the youth in President Mnangagwa's cabinet? We could ask the same question. I saw these old men, and they call it, it's a new dispensation, or there's the new second republic, so they call it, quote unquote, and they've got the vision 2030 with old people that I'm just praying if they're going to be alive by 2030. No, I'm not God, but all I'm saying is I don't know if some of them will be alive by 2030. But they are claiming to have vision 2030. That does not include any young person. Very scary indeed. I said more than 1/3 of President Mnangagwa's cabinet ministers are over 60 years and old, and most of them have been in cabinet for the better or part of their political lives. While UZA respects the Kadayas who sacrificed their lives for an independent Zimbabwe, we do not believe that 43 years after independence, the country should remain in a war mode. It's time for the new blood. I also don't know why, if there is a parameter in terms of retirement, why is it so difficult for us to apply the same principles in a government space? Why do we keep on reshuffle old people as if there are no new blood to take over the positions? I guess he has to be loyal to his people. What do I mean by that? If you've been in my body and pushing the agenda for me to be in the place, I'm gonna come back and give you a position. If I don't do that, you come against me. That's one thing that I hate about Zanu people. It is a system that will do anything to have power. Anything, which means people can be abducted, hurt, killed, just to keep the power. And if then the person have done the work, your debt work, how can you not include them in the space? Because you'll be in trouble. A person can't do your dirty work and then tomorrow you dump them. You'll be in trouble. They'll bring you down. So I guess it's an issue of loyalty. It's not about you, the people of Zimbabwe, it's about them. Loyal to one another is we're together. I mean, during your early hours, and now we are back again. So that's why I'm supporting you. That's why I'm going to drag you to also come and eat around the table. We all going to sit at the high table because you played a part during my quest for this position. So you and me, we should all be able to eat, come around the high table. Even if we don't have the qualities to serve the people, that's not the issue. You can see they have no qualities because the country is deteriorating. As we speak, we have never had nothing, no vision. They just say Vision 2030 is just a word. These people got into an election, no manifesto, no direction. But they said our work is our manifesto. And you know what? The work and manifesto is this old reshuffling of old and old and older for uncles and our grandfather who used to be at the farms while taking care of our grandchildren. No, they want to be around. But like I said, SADC is not going to have it this time. They said we are going to overturn everything that is Zimbabwe's so-called leaders are trying to build, because it's about the people, not about individuals. And I'm so glad that they keep exposing themselves daily. By appointing your son as a deputy minister, you're exposing yourself to the world that your goal is all about you. You don't care about the people that you should be serving. Appointing 26 cabinet ministers and 10 provincial ministers in a country already burdened with economic malaise proves that either President Mnangagwa is out of touch with reality, has no regard for the voice of the people. UZI would have expected President Mnangagwa to trim the size of his cabinet. UZI favors a lean cabinet of under 15 ministers, which should include qualified and experienced individuals leading the various portfolios. I mean, that was the goal of Nelson Chamisa. He said he wanted a lean of 15 cabinet ministers.